Fresh off of one of the more drama-filled, impactful weeks in the National Football League in recent memory, it's time for this Week 11 edition of Overreaction Monday, brought to you by Game Time, the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events and more near you. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets completely with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use our code OVERREACTION. You get $20 off your first purchase. What a great weekend, Christopher Brockman.
Dude, was that the best NFL Sunday of the year?
I think so. Well, I mean, just in terms of big games.
Big games, and they all kind of lived up to
Chiefs,
the billing.
Bills, Ravens, and Steelers, Bears, Packers. You know, and in terms of Ravens, Steelers, Bears, Packers going on at the same time, I'll start this show off with a little nugget for you. I had no idea about this. Is that on Sunday, it was the 36th all-time meeting between John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. That's second most in NFL history behind Curly Lambeau and George Halas. So the Ravens-Steelers is kind of like our generations.
Our generations, for sure.
Packers Bears.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You know, that
and I feel like the record is probably pretty even, right? Do you know the record offhand?
I did see that, but you know, Tomlin's obviously now +1, and he was already plus up.
Yeah,
certainly on this run that they're going on in recent days, 7 of their last 8. Lamar to the Steelers is kind of like Joey Burrow to the Browns.
Oof.
You know what I mean? Like somebody's got somebody's number in division, and we'll see what happens moving forward. But it's just kind of wild that, you know, once upon a time, the Steelers sitting there in the AFC Central had decades ever since, you know, Bradshaw and Franco Harris came into being and turned the Steelers franchise around. They had a nice, like, 2-3 decade run of having the brass knuckles, paint swamping style all to themselves, you know, with all due respect to some Browns teams and some Bengals teams.
Sure.
You know, the Oilers never really had that. And then the Ravens came into being, and they drafted Ray Lewis with one of their first draft choices, and yada, yada, yada. 3 decades later, this is what we're talking about.
Yep.
All right, so lots to talk about here on this edition of Overreaction Monday. Hit it.
That was terrible. That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
Christopher, what do you have over there?
As we said, awesome NFL Sunday. Let's start with the game of the day and the result. The Bills are going to be the 1 seed in the AFC.
I still think that's an overreaction to say that's going to happen right now. The Bills definitely have more difficult games on their schedule remaining than the Chiefs. Chiefs next up have the Carolina Panthers, the hottest team in Germany, coming off a bye.
That's true. Coming off a bye.
You know, that's their next game before a Black Friday home date with Vegas. Then they host the Chargers on a Sunday night. What a great game that's going to be. Certainly, since the Chargers just showed the whole country they can perform and give you an entertaining game on a Sunday night.
That was a really good game Sunday.
Then they're at Cleveland, Houston at home, and then at Pittsburgh before at Denver, which is obviously a significant game. But the Cleveland, Houston, Pittsburgh troika, that is the Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday that Christmas Day participants are going to go through.
So back-to-back short weeks.
That's 3 games in 11 days. We've seen that before, but usually it's a Thursday, Sunday, you know, type cadence.
Mm-hmm.
This one's going to be weird when you're just getting out of sorts with
Christmas
a
is weird.
Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday.
Yep.
That is the toughest part of the Kansas City schedule. You look at Buffalo's schedule here after the bye, they have San Francisco at home, which may not be all that difficult.
Yeah.
Although San Francisco is still coming in, right? Then they're at the Rams, at Detroit. Holy cow. Everyone's going to be billing that as a Super Bowl preview, and rightfully so.
I think so. And then, look, 3 obviously, you know, should wins at the end of the year.
Yes, then they finish up against their 2 against New England, and then the Jets in between it. So the Bills have got to gain at least one more game on the Chiefs, which is entirely possible. To say this, though, as a statement is an overreaction.
That's kind of the idea.
You
like what you saw at Buffalo
of
on
course,
Sunday, right?
That Buffalo wins this game minus Keon Coleman, minus Dalton Kincaid. I'm assuming if these teams play again, we'll see Matt Milano back, one of the best defenders the Bills have put on the field when healthy in the last few years.
I think so.
Which would change the tenor quite a bit that he's out there. They're going to be healthier next time they face the Chiefs, one would think. And what they did was, remember last year they settled for a field goal and miss it?
Yep.
Remember they got into the red zone, they were on fire, and then the play calling, and then the kick. This time around, McDermott's like, screw the kick.
Yeah, hey, Josh, why don't
screw
you
the
just
kick.
go do
Screw
your
the
thing?
kick.
Yeah, Josh,
and then the Chiefs made a rare defensive miscue for them, which was not to have a spy on Josh Allen on that play. How do you not do that?
Don't think it would have mattered.
Second guess. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But to basically have 17 say, I not only have the first down, I've got the touchdown in front of the fans and the train whistles. And then the thing that really gave me significant encouragement as well is seeing Josh Allen after the game, like just a week 11 win.
Well,
It's
he was
just a
like,
week
look,
11
we've
win.
beaten them before in the regular season, and it didn't work out.
He basically was like, great, this is a great win for us. Let's go on the bye. This is a team, and we're going to talk about it on the flagship show as well. This is a team that is a sum of its parts. And a lot of the previous Bills teams looked like, an excellent team, but some of the parts weren't clicking.
Right.
This seems to be a totally different ball of wax right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that counts for something. But this is a statement of fact that I think is still an overreaction right now.
That's fair.
So there's that.
All right.
By the way, you keep going. Don't
okay,
worry
great.
about it. There's no more, by the way.
There's no more, by the way. And another thing.
Yes, right.
You know who was back and was balling? AR5. If the Colts never benched Anthony Richardson, they'd be leading the AFC South.
Or Richardson needed the break.
Did you see him play yesterday?
What do you think? I did. First three quarters weren't all that.
I had a rushing touchdown.
I know that. Fourth quarter, that's the stuff. That's the guy they drafted fourth overall.
Could have used that the previous 2 weeks when they lost with Joe Flacco.
Maybe it wasn't in there. Maybe the kid, after tapping out of a play, needed something to happen. You know what popped into my timeline over the weekend on Instagram? I don't know why, but it did. There's a reel, and I'll pop it on the show page.
Okay.
Of Bob Knight, not a guy who I usually like to quote.
Well, he had his moments.
Bob Knight said the greatest motivator in all of sports is ass on bench. And then he went on and used the word ass in many different sentences.
Of course he did.
And you could see he was relishing saying the word ass into a microphone in front of a whole bunch of
there was probably
members of the media
involved, and he threw stuff.
So ass on bench is something that perhaps the kid needed. So I will call this an overreaction as well, because you still can't say that when the Colts were struggling with Joe Flacco taking on Buffalo, taking on Minnesota, would have gone any better with Anthony Richardson coming off of that game against Houston where he threw that terrible pick at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
And in the second half, let everybody on the bench know. And again, that's the part of this that people haven't talked about, is that we found out after the game that Richardson took a play off because he admitted into the microphone that I was tired.
Right.
And all of us in the media and in sports fandom were kind of like, what? Imagine you're a teammate of his. What do you think? They found out just when he said it into a microphone? Maybe some of them did, but the rest of them on the offense absolutely were probably like, what happened to happened to Richardson? What happened to Anthony?
Right. Where did he go?
And somebody had to basically say he was tired. And do you know how that would permeate the sideline?
Yeah.
And you just got to give it up to maybe Steichen or Chris Ballard or the team that's there in the front office to say they knew what the kid needed. And And I bet you at some point during that game in MetLife, they were thinking, uh-oh. We benched him and we still didn't get much better play. Then the fourth quarter hit. And he was stupendous.
Looked great.
And so let's just, and I know this is called Overreaction Monday.
I mean,
let's just take a beat.
it's not mild-mannered Monday.
I understand it would be a terrible podcast.
A terrible podcast.
And let's just say he needed this piece of confidence, certainly going into his next game, which is against the Detroit Lions. So take a beat, say maybe he needed that, not looking at it as a mistake. Let's look at the glass half full. And speaking of that, before we move on, kudos to those in Stamford, Connecticut, and also New York City who looked at the Jets Colts and said, maybe we should put Bengals Chargers in front of the country on a Sunday night.
Right.
Great flex, by the way.
That worked out.
A superb Week 11 flex.
That worked out.
Yes. What else?
I'm excited to watch Richardson the rest of the year.
Okay.
Speaking of dynamic young quarterbacks.
Did you pick him up in your fantasy?
I did.
You did?
I did not play him yesterday.
I don't blame you.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway, but I do have him.
I don't blame you.
I do have him for the rest of the year now.
That's why is that why you're looking for it? Let's be full disclosure here, pal.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Rich, Bo Nix is balling.
He sure is.
Bo Nix is the best quarterback of this draft class, and he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Oh, baby. Oh. We're marathoning. We're not sprinting, right?
We're marathoning. We still have,
There's only 2
months left.
There's only 2 guys in this conversation right now, and one of them is not named Caleb Williams.
No.
One of them is not named Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors.
Brock Bowers.
I mean, I think Bowers will get a nice nod to say, let's get you at the NFL honors.
Bowers might set the rookie catch record again.
I am aware of this.
Back-to-back years.
I'm aware of this.
Yeah. Drake May look good yesterday.
Dude,
just saying.
But it's a 2-person race.
It is now.
And everybody thought it would be Caleb. And it would be Jaden Daniels. It is indeed Bo Nix.
Oh, yeah.
And Jaden Daniels. And if Bo Nix continues to do this, if Bo Nix can start stringing some W's together as the Denver Broncos eviscerated Atlanta, and now they go to Vegas before having a Cleveland Browns game at home.
Winnable.
And then there's a bye. And then they're home for Indianapolis. Then they're here against the Chargers. What a big game that is going to be in Week 15 before they're at Cincinnati on a Saturday, which is a game I potentially might call on NFL Network.
Really?
That's one of those Saturday games.
Oh, fun.
That is available for, we don't know if it's going to be plucked or it's going to be one of ours or not. And then there's a home date with Kansas City. There's going to be some significant playoff big boy pants time for Bo Nix to show off what he can do. And if Jaden Daniels is, in fact, a shadow of himself, which is supported by, A, his stats since getting hurt with a rib injury, and B, that I can't make a damn fantasy move right for my damn life, and I just traded for him.
Look good on paper.
Is it possible that Bo Nix, for, say, a 10-11 win Denver Bronco team, where he's doing things that nobody thought he could do?
He only has,
although
2 interceptions.
There was some person who tweeted out in Week 1. There's a lot to like about Bo Nix, and I got it from all Denver Broncos fans because of how terrible he looked in just one rookie start in Seattle.
Well, didn't Sean Payton call him like Mahomes-esque or something in the offseason?
Actually, I think he called him Ferris Bueller. That was during the season.
Was during the season.
But this is entirely possible. I am not putting this out of the realm, which means I can't. I mean, Jaden Daniels has so much of the buzz, and he has so much of. Can I give you some Vegas stuff?
Yeah,
please. I was literally about to ask you that.
So a couple weeks ago, Jaden Daniels was like minus 1,300, which is bet $13 to win $1.
Is it now half of that?
It's now half of that. It's minus 600, and Bo Nix is down to plus 400. He's only 4-1 now.
It's he's got a long way to go because Jaden
Gap
Daniels
has really narrowed.
Well, Jaden Daniels did it on national TV. Jaden Daniels threw that Hail Mary. Jaden
I
Daniels
think if Bo Nix
has played games in front of the country.
A 4-touchdown, no-pick game on national TV, it'd probably be even.
But he was also the last pick in the draft. Everybody thought that Sean Payton,
last
quarterback pick in the first round, right? I'm sorry, he's not Brock Purdy, but
no.
I'll call this an overreaction. That you can't just sit here and say that right now, but proof positive though that it helps to come into the league and have 60 collegiate starts under your belt already. You've played a lot of football. It helps you process. Mm-hmm. Take a look at Caleb Williams. Didn't have all those starts.
Which guy would you rather have the rest of the year?
I'll take Bo Nix.
Yeah,
I would. Although Jaden Daniels has some winnable games coming up, I am genuinely concerned he is not healthy.
Agreed.
He doesn't look like the same guy.
He does not.
Oh, good one, though. You got one more?
I got one more before halftime. Before halftime.
All right, very good. So are we in the middle 8 of this podcast?
Yeah,
right
middle 8
okay.
right now.
Right.
Curious result in San Francisco yesterday, Rich. What is the line that Gino said? It was like everyone tried to write him off, but he didn't write back. Right?
Yeah.
Seahawks are going to win the West.
How can you say that when there's one 6-4 team and 3 5-5 teams? How can you say that?
Well, I wrote it out. I watched the game.
No, this is an overreaction.
The Cardinals had a bye.
I'm very happy for
Gino. I typed it out on my phone.
Nice.
I hit send.
I'm very happy for Gino. Finally beats the San Francisco 49ers. And you kind of got a sense of things that it was going their way when Nick Bosa went out. He's got to make his oblique great again. Is that Moga? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So when he went out, kind of changed the tenor of things, man.
A little bit.
And
Jackson Smith and
Seahawks took advantage of it.
Is balling.
I know that.
Kenneth Walker.
Arizona is playing the best football of the division. Seattle is the team that goes 3-1 and then wins only one time in the next month and a half. But one of those is in Atlanta when they were just like dynamite, right? And then,
look, Rams didn't look great against Miami.
They
and
lose to the
beat
Giants at home.
Patriots.
I mean,
Niners are
the Bills
really
just
struggling.
eviscerated them, which is what you do to a team that's definitely less than. It's interesting you choose the Seahawks. Rams can actually win this thing too,
Yeah, but you watch them play.
You're writing off the Niners. So what you're doing, you're writing them off?
Well, can we just pause on that?
Oh, okay. That's an overreaction. Just they needed a win to keep their season going and having, conversations like this exist. They needed to do it.
They needed it bad.
And they got it done. They're just way too inconsistent for me to sit here and go, oh, they're absolutely going to put
but no team in the
enough
West
wins
is consistent.
running away with it.
Is consistent.
There's one that's on a 4-game win streak coming off a bye. That sounds consistent to me.
I forgot about them.
I know clearly you did because they went on a bye.
They didn't play last week.
I know.
I forgot about them. Out of sight, out of mind.
Well, this conversation will have a more clear-cut answer when, Arizona visits Seattle next week.
There we go.
Yes.
I'll double down next week.
And so, Arizona at best have gotten, it's time in at home and it's bye week. Hopefully they enjoyed it because they're about to pack a bag at Seattle, at Minnesota, home for Seattle. So this is really in the next 3 weeks
going to get pretty soon, I think.
And then they're home for New England, at Carolina, at the Rams, which is another Saturday game that's possible for me to call on NFL Network, and then home for San Francisco.
Ooh,
fun. Because the Rams have Philadelphia on Sunday night. That'll be a fun one. You going to that one?
To be determined.
Whose house?
Whose house?
Not your house. And then they're at Baltimore. Pardon me. Then I'm giving you the Philadelphia schedule. Then they're at New Orleans, home for Buffalo, at San Francisco, at the Jets, then that Arizona game, and then home for Seattle. It's anybody's division. It truly is. You can't sit here and say Seattle's the one to just get the dub.
Best division in football.
Well, it's definitely the
most
competitive, or the most in doubt.
Most even.
I still think the best division in football is the NFC North. It's halftime right here on Overreaction Monday, which means it's time to talk Game Time tickets.
Let's do it.
Game Time Picks is a new feature. When you use it, it makes it so easy to see the incredible deals on the great seats you're looking for. It filters out all the other fluff. You don't waste any time searching through thousands of tickets. And what you also get to see is what it costs up front. I love that feature. No more guessing. You just see how much the ticket is, you hit the purchase button, and then when it's time for you to pay, it's the amount of money that was already on the app. And there's a flexible customer service policy that is the best in the ticketing industry that covers your purchase. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use our code OVERREACTION for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Visit GameTime.co for details. Again, create an account, redeem our code OVERREACTION for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Second half. Christopher, what do you have over there?
Second half, I'm coming out hot. Coming out high. Scripted the second half plays. Did? I did. Neither the Chiefs or Ravens are making the AFC Championship game.
So it's
Bills Steelers.
Chargers in there too?
Maybe.
Neither the Chiefs nor the Ravens will reach the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, don't like what I saw on Sunday.
Which is what?
Steelers have the Ravens number.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And
you think the next time they play, Derrick Henry's going to fumble it on snap too? You think that'll happen?
He only had 60 yards. Right?
Okay. You did get in the end zone.
Well, that's set your watch to that.
All right.
It's time. It's new blood. Time for new blood. We're not going to run this back. Run this back.
I don't disagree with that.
We're not running this back. New blood.
If you said we're not going to get this rematch in the NFC Championship game, I would agree with you. But you're saying neither are making it.
That's not spicy enough. Neither are going to make it.
Well, it's too spicy for my blood. I will push back on that.
No Monday spice? So who makes it then?
The Bills eliminate one of the teams on the screen.
For sure.
Okay, even though the Ravens destroyed the Bills, handed them their first loss of the season.
When was that? That was like 2 months ago.
Let me make sure I get this right. It is week 4.
And the Steelers take out the other one.
Bills Steelers.
Oh,
man.
In Buffalo.
That'll be pretty cool.
That'll be fun.
Snowing? Was that the closest?
Snowing a little bit?
The closest two football cities are to each other to play in the AFC Championship?
Oh, yeah, because that's super,
it's right there. Straight line down. That's why when Jim Kelly went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you can make a straight line from Buffalo to Pittsburgh, where he's from, right down to Canton. That's why they had to change the actual seating arrangements. Couldn't fit everyone in. It's outside. That's why it's out. Well, it was always outside. That's why it's now in a stadium, as opposed to the front lawn of the Hall of Fame. I digress. Call this an overreaction and move on.
Ooh, and move on.
Move on. What else is there to discuss?
Wow. I don't know. Did you like what you saw to those guys on Sunday?
It's 1 week.
Okay.
It's the first loss of the Chiefs. Of course, everybody's going to have their hair on fire with the first loss of the Chiefs.
Yeah, but the Chiefs should really be like 6-4, and we all know it, and they know it, and it's fine.
The Chiefs should be 6-4. You want to just really dig? You want to drill deep into that?
Sure.
All right. So you think they should be 0-1? They should have lost to Buffalo.
Well, Harbaugh's going for 2. They get it because they couldn't be stopped that day.
They should have lost to Cincinnati as well.
Right. Phantom flag on that pass interference.
Okay. At Atlanta, they should have started 0-3. You're going to at least give them that win.
What was that game?
You're going to at least give them that game? You can at least give them that game? Sure. Why not? Okay.
And then they should have lost. And then they should have lost to Tampa.
I lost to Tampa. I watched the game against the Chargers. They had they had the Chargers number all day. Defensively, they couldn't do a damn thing.
I'm saying Tampa. Todd Bowles should have went for 2 at the end,
and you would have gotten it.
6-4. And they should have lost to Denver.
Well, that one I'll give you. That one I'll give you. But guess what? They're 9-1,
and that's fine. Watch, this Carolina game is going to be way closer than people think.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way closer.
Calling your shot, babe.
Way closer than people think.
Listen. Overreaction. Let's move on.
Moving on.
Yes, sir.
The 49ers are going to miss the playoffs.
I don't think that's an overreaction right now. I don't think that's overreaction. Because Ayuk's not walking through that door.
No.
Okay. Juwan Jennings had a nice game again.
Juwan Jennings is a really good receiver.
Right. And Nick Bosa's injury concerns me. And I mean, they kept Kittle out to make sure he does play the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. They've now I mean, you take a look at their record in division. That's the one that really concerns me. I mean, they lost to the Rams, and they've lost 2 home games in division.
That doesn't happen.
I mean,
that doesn't really happen.
They lost at home to Arizona and home to Seattle. And they could have eliminated Seattle and didn't. They have trouble finishing games. You want to talk about lucky to win some of the stuff too.
Well, Tampa last week.
I mean, seriously. Purdy is playing inconsistently.
Yeah, he has games where he looks like the best quarterback in the league,
right.
And then other times.
Well, I mean, the team has quarters like they're the best team in the league too.
McCaffrey looks back. I think that's
right.
One thing to hang your hat on.
I am genuinely concerned about the 49ers, and I don't think this is an overreaction right now. 5-5, 0-2 at home in division, man. I mean, that will leave a mark. That will significantly leave a mark. And like I said, they are banged up. I thought by now, we would see everybody back, like
right.
Full Avengers strength right now. That we would see everybody back. And we'd be talking about Dre Greenlaw's coming back too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another addition. But right now, they are, I think they need to, let's put it this way. I think their path to the playoffs is by winning the division,
right? Not
a wild card.
Agreed.
And that's why I'm concerned. 0-2 at home in division? Dude. So
questionable.
That's not an overreaction, unfortunately, for the Niners fans out there.
Look, it happens. Super Bowl hangover, weird year, weird injuries, stuff happens.
So when you look at the NFC, who's in, who's out from the previous year, normally there is some churn. How about Cowboys and Niners being the ones that are out? Packers, Lions stay in it, right?
Yep.
Commanders replace them, and maybe Arizona replaces San Francisco.
Vikings are back. I thought the Vikings were going to fall off a little bit. They've bounced back really nicely.
Right. And the NFC South, I don't know if that's part of your scorecard here.
Not yet. Maybe
the rest of the show.
Maybe on a Tuesday.
No, but the NFC South is in play.
Suddenly now.
It's in play.
Yeah.
Even though Atlanta swept Tampa.
Right.
But Tampa needed the results.
Kirk looked a little old on Sunday.
Well, I mean, that Denver defense, no joke.
Yep.
What else?
Tough road game. Hey, who's balling still? Tua's back.
He is.
Tua's back. Dolphins are going to make the playoffs.
Put up the AFC standings, will you, please?
They're 4-6.
I agree
Miami.
with the Tua's back balling.
They're 4-6.
Okay. And this is, again, we're recording this early on a Monday, which is why I've got a coffee mug in front of me. By the way, this is a new.
Well done.
Never really would drink coffee in the afternoon, tasting it, tasting my caffeine post show. So Texans 6-4, Broncos 6-5, Dolphins 4-6. No, man, who are they going to catch?
They're going to catch either.
Who are they going to catch?
I'm a little worried about Baltimore. They're going to catch Denver or Baltimore.
Dude, they're 2.5 behind the Ravens right now.
Well, just give it time.
They're 2.5 behind the Ravens.
We got time. Long season. I mean, you still have the Bengals sniffing it. The Bengals season is over, which we're going to talk about in literally like 2 minutes.
Dude, they're at Green Bay, at Houston, home for San Francisco. Yeah, I don't. I mean, to just basically state they are making the playoffs.
Well, that's the idea.
I understand what the idea is, and so I will push back and say,
well, Green Bay
that's an overreaction.
Look,
Tua is balling. There's no doubt about it.
They easily beat New England next week, right? And Green Bay didn't do anything on Sunday to make me think like, wow,
Lambeau Field's a different animal.
They're
pal.
world beaters.
Lambeau Field on a Thanksgiving night, different animal, different creature.
And then they have the Jets. They're going to be over 500 in 2.5 weeks.
I don't dispute any of that, but they are going to have to catch some people. I
think some people might fall back to them.
Hold on a minute.
And we know Denver has that hard stretch.
Hold on.
And, Baltimore's offense.
Let me get this up. Let me call up some standings
hit a snag against Pittsburgh.
I'm calling up some standings.
That's all.
Hold on. I'm calling up some standings.
That's all I'm
saying. Here's the issue.
I wish they would have had one of those. The first 2 games, Tua came back. They got beat at the buzzer both games. I wish they would have got one of those.
How about this? Denver is 2-4 in conference. That is not good for a tiebreak. Miami's 3-4 in conference.
Okay.
They do not play each other. So, yeah, that's very helpful for him.
Interesting.
And those conference numbers will get improved with them taking on teams in their division not named the Bills.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So there's a lot going for this right now.
It's trending.
Tua's hot.
It's trending.
Their conference record is better than the team that they're currently trying to chase down.
Mm-hmm.
The team that they're currently trying to chase down in Denver does have another game against Kansas City and the Chargers to go. You know, their home date with their visit to Vegas, that's a must win. They got to win those games.
Got to win them.
Right.
Got to do it.
Certainly because that would count against them in the conference standings and obviously in overall. Still an overreaction.
All right.
2 weeks from now, let's put a pin in this one. You want to revisit?
We'll circle back.
You don't usually recycle.
No.
Usually throw it in the
We'll circle back.
in the non-blue can. Whatever can that is around here.
The black can.
Yeah.
The black can is not recycled.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Green-
Del Tufo's
green-
chiming in
green
from
is
the
like
side.
compost.
Mr. Recycling
Yeah,
over there.
Green
Yeah.
is compost
He's so woke.
here in California.
Del Tufo.
Well, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, Rich, you know what I mean?
Mike Del Woke. What else you got over there?
Del Woco. Last one. Now, we watched Joe Burrow play. You know, I saw a crazy stat. Joe Burrow has 9 touchdowns and no picks against the Ravens. 0-2. The Steelers didn't score a touchdown against the Ravens and beat them. How's that work?
I don't know, man.
How's
It's
that
kind of crazy. I after that Sunday night game, I turned to my boys who were watching with us. You know, usually Zan only is interested in Chiefs games because
Sure.
Travis Kelce
Of who's in attendance?
is Taylor Swift's boyfriend. But we were all locked in.
Great
Me
game.
and the boys were locked in watching the game.
Really fun.
Anyway, so after the game's over and they showed Burrow on the screen, I'm like, greatest 4-7 quarterback ever.
Of all time. I mean,
I don't know who.
Flipped the record and he's a runaway MVP.
Cooper then looked at me. He goes, "Wait, Rodgers isn't the best 3-8 quarterback ever?" And
No.
I just stared at him. I think he was doing that to try and troll on me.
That dude's so washed. If the Bengals are too cheap to hire Bill Belichick, Joe Burrow should ask for a trade.
There's a lot. There's a lot on the screen right there, man.
And it's all true.
So you included if the Bengals are too cheap to hire Belichick, Joe Burrow should ask for a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Break it down.
No, I'm breaking it down here. So Zach Taylor is the coach who has been the play caller, who took them or led them, was the coach of the team.
There we go.
That made the Super Bowl in the building in which Burrow lost Sunday night. Okay.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor is also the coach calling the plays where Burrow and Chase go off like they do. Calling the plays where they wind up going off like they do.
Maybe.
Okay.
We don't,
Hold on a minute.
not
And so
not
Jamar
confirmed.
Chase last night throwing out there some shade saying, I don't call the plays.
Yeah.
Okay. When asked, like, why aren't you finishing consistently? Where's the, and he's like, I'm not the one calling the plays.
And the 2-point target the week before didn't go to him.
Well, as he said, sometimes Joe doesn't see it. So Chase says a few things here and there that also, when asked about McPherson missing the kicks, said that's why they pay him the big bucks, which is what you're going to get from Jamar Chase when you don't pay him his.
Yeah.
So that's the cheapness that you're referring to. Also, if you are in the Overreaction Monday mood, and you are,
I woke up spicy.
okay, saying coaches should be fired in retribution overnight on the spot based on results, like, say, Sunday night, week 11.
When you have maybe the 2 best players at their position in the NFL.
Okay, got it. So, and the fact that the Bengals would never do that, since they are owned by a man who kept Marvin Lewis way past his expiration date because he just wouldn't want to pay him dead coaching money. And thus, the cheapness that would prevent them from making the rash move you think would be brash enough to make them better, which is blow them out and tell Belichick, you come on in here.
Yeah.
And
If they have Belichick last night, you think they win?
Let me tell you why this is totally ridiculous, because I just laid it all out for you. So let me just hit the hammer on the head. Mike Brown isn't paying a coach dead money as long as he is not dead. And on top of it, you know who knows that sort of thing? Do you know who knows potentially that, and I'm not saying this is true or not, maybe why Jamar Chase isn't getting signed is because there's a ton of money that would be required to be put in escrow, and there's already enough in there for Burrow. Do you know who knows about this sort of style of management? Do you know who actually dissects everything down to the last decimal point, salary cap dollar and cent, as well as management style and how much his style would be given wide berth within the building? Do you know who dissects all of that before he makes a decision on how to be a head coach, even though the last time that happened was, in fact, in the late 90s? Bill Belichick is not going to be the next head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wouldn't it be great, though, if
never
10 years after we're on to Cincinnati, he becomes the Cincinnati coach?
Wouldn't it would be great? I'm moving on. Look who's moving on to Cincinnati.
Wouldn't that be great?
Okay.
Guess who doesn't blow the game last night?
Josh McDaniels? Really? Okay. That's the guy?
Josh McDaniels is a better play caller than Zach Taylor. Of that, I am most certain.
And even though I texted you, let's not talk about it because it can become dated. Doug Peterson, by the time you're hearing this, could potentially be the ex-head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's going to happen at some point, if not already, while you're listening to this pod or watching it on our YouTube channel. If that does in fact happen, after a result that, yes, was particularly embarrassing, but expected that for them to lose and lose significantly in Detroit.
Yeah, biggest spread of the year.
Then it's basically they need to open up positions for Belichick to know they're interested in him.
But if you're Bill, would you rather coach Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow?
Of course, come on. Of course.
Also, in Bill, historian of the game.
No, I know. And that's the next Brady. I understand that.
Paul Brown.
They're not firing Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's not walking out through that door.
I think Zach Taylor gets fired.
And neither is Joe Burrow.
I think so.
Come on, man.
But if he doesn't, that's what I'm saying. Ask to get out of there.
No way.
If you're Joe and they don't fire Zach Taylor, get out of there.
It's not going to happen.
Free Joe. I'm going to start that.
None of it.
Okay.
Before we get to our future overreactions, let's talk about Omaha Steaks and how it would be a perfect.
Is it too early for a steak?
It is not.
At 8 a.m.?
It is definitely never too early to get a steak. And for right now, with the holiday season upon us, what you need to do is get the comfort and the joy and the unrivaled quality that Omaha Steaks and its taste deliver right to your front door. When the box arrives in our house, it's like a huge party. Save 50% off the gourmet gifts on the site at omahasteaks.com, site-wide. Plus, you can get a $30 reward card when you shop early. Score an extra $30 off with the promo code of Eisen. Legendary steaks, mouth-watering desserts, and more. Save 50% off site-wide right now at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with our promo code of EISEN and a $30 reward card when you shop early. That's OMAHA. Steaks.com. 50% off. An extra $30 off with promo code Eisen. Minimum purchase may apply. Visit omahasteaks.com for details. Chris, let's get right down to it.
Okay, let's do it. Man,
future overreaction. What was your future
Last week
overreaction?
I was so close. The Chargers are Fugazi playoff contenders. If only...
What if McPherson made kicks?
If only they didn't have Zach Taylor, then maybe they would have won that game.
Come on, man.
Too harsh?
What's your overreaction now?
My overreaction for next week is the Eagles are the best team in the NFC.
So you say they're going to come here and tell you whose house it is.
Yeah. And then
Detroit's going to have problems with Indianapolis?
Yeah, Anthony Richardson's going to get Detroit.
That's quite an overreaction. Okay, ready for mine? Last week, my overreaction was that at this point in time, we would be saying the Chiefs are vulnerable for sure. Look where we are.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
So here's my overreaction that's future now. Chiefs are 100% back.
Because they're playing the
Chiefs are 100% back.
Because they're playing the
Next week, everyone's going to be like, oh, look at that. Right there. Rick Dalton GIF.
Hey.
There it is.
But you're saying who else are the people going to lose? Is Buffalo or Pittsburgh?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Buffalo's on a bye.
Buffalo's on a bye.
Okay.
Who does
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
has
have?
got Cleveland, and that'll
Okay.
it might be a tough one. Always is.
Okay.
In division, right? They're going to Cleveland. Yeah. Ravens had a scare there, didn't he?
True.
Ravens lost,
Okay.
right? Didn't they lose there in Cleveland?
Chiefs are 100% back. They did. Yeah.
So, let's go.
Chiefs are back. All right.
I'm just saying.
That's fun.
I'm just saying, bud, that here we go. Chiefs are 100% back. Right now, they're vulnerable. Smash cut to 1 week from now, boom, 100% back.
No Bryce Young, no faith in
100% back. 100. Dude, I saw them with my own two eyes. They are feeling good about themselves.
Chuba.
Okay, they're feeling good about themselves. Chiefs Nation, whoever has any hint of Chiefs Nation, Kingdom. Okay, Chiefs Kingdom will show up there in that stadium.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Okay.
Chiefs are going to be one. By the way, Pacheco's coming back.
That's true.
The run game's going to get going. And by the way,
true.
It's a perfect spot for Kansas City to be in Carolina. You know why?
Why?
Because Kareem Hunt has been this year's fantasy Mike Davis, who just kept running and running for the injured Christian McCaffrey.
Dude, just like off the couch and just like.
But at some point,
he never left.
At some point, that fantasy Hanukkah oil finally ran out. It burned bright for 8 weeks.
And now it's Pacheco time.
And now it's Pacheco time. Kareem Hunt, fantasy owners like me in the Rich Eisen Show Fantasy Football League, poof, like that, gone.
You beat me down.
Like Kaiser Soze. For Chris, I'm Rich. That's Overreaction Monday. What the Football with Susie Schuster and Amy Trask on Tuesday. Kevin Harlan will be their guest after calling the Monday night game between the Texans and the Cowboys. And so Kevin Harlan will be on What the Football with Susie and Amy. For Chris, I'm Rich. Peace out. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.